Everybody trying to be content creators and trying to go viral. You want to go viral?
Okay, you want to go viral. Let's go viral then.
Say let.
Let go.
Let's embrace it. Let's love it. Let's enjoy it. And let's give them the experience of their life. That's Roswell for you, baby. Come together. And guys, this is Speaking Out Loud. I appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to share and dance like you just don't care. It's early in the morning. Let's have a day. And like I said, be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS.
Good morning and welcome to Speaking Out Loud. I am your host, Rene Ruiz, and along with me is the man with the buys, the man with the tries, the one with the broad chest, the one, the only, John Borba.
Yo.
How you feeling? How was sleep last night? We sleep good?
You know, I don't know. I don't sleep the best, so it's always an issue for me.
Oh
But
no,
I'm
we're
alright.
4 months in. We're
Yeah.
4 months in since we kicked the show back off. Are we? Would you say you're a morning person as of now?
I think I've turned into one, yeah. Just over the years. You know, I think as you get older, I mean, being a morning person is easier. You could see, you know, I mean,
Hey,
as you get older, it just gets easier to wake up. We got to do what we got to do.
yeah, shout out to the folks that are joining us this morning. Shout out to Nate. It might snow. It's 28 degrees, 27 degrees outside, coming at you live from Roswell, New Mexico, the beautiful place, home of the aliens. But let's get straight to it, JB. Today we're going to talk a little bit of NFL news, and then we're going to give our picks. And then we have Dominic Dominguez from Volcano Vista, now plays college ball in Washington, Tacoma, Washington. He'll be coming on at 7 a.m. He's a Seahawks enthusiast, so he'll come and kind of give us the latest news on the Seattle Seahawks, and then we'll get his picks for the weekend, and we'll make our picks as well. But JB, let's get straight to it. The breaking news that happened this morning is Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport are reporting that John Harbaugh is finalizing a deal with the New York Giants. If you're a New York Giants fan, how do you feel? Put yourself in the body of a New York Giants fan. How do you feel about this potential hire? It sounds like they're just waiting on finalizing numbers on what the contract is going to look like. But from what's being reported from Ian Rappaport, it looks like they're looking at a 5-year deal there in New York to have John Harbaugh as their next head coach.
Well, that's some news, huh? So, first head coach signing this year. First head coach signing this year. John Harbaugh already off the streets. Just took what, less than a week? Maybe about a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit over a week, I'd say. But coming to the Giants, obviously a team that needs a culture, right? Like, I think for some of these teams that have no culture, that just have been bottom of the barrel for years and years and years, John Harbaugh is a good hire for that type of organization. I think he's going to bring in a culture. He's going to instill the same things that he instilled in Baltimore, and you got a high ceiling. Honestly, you got a high ceiling with Jackson Dart, who looked pretty good. Malik Neighbors, obviously, he's going to be a stud for years to come. Running game that's coming along. You got a front four that looks really good on paper, and Abdul Carter only got better as the year got on, kind of came on late. So you still got some other guys, Brian Burns, things like that. But offensively, you really could do some work with just I think you got to retailer the roster a little bit. And I'm going to be interested to see who Harbaugh brings with him, though, offensively and
That's what
defensively.
I'm the most interested about.
That is
That's
going
like
to
the only
be
thing I care about.
that's going to be big.
You-
So I think he's gonna bring in some young guys. That's what I feel like.
I mean, he has to. He has
He
to.
has to. Yeah,
To be honest, he has to. You think Mike McDaniels is going to take some offensive coordinator job right now? If Philadelphia's job is the one that's open at the OC position, you think New York's going to be the first one? To me, if I'm a New York Giants fan, I honestly don't know what to feel. I think I'm waiting more or less to see exactly who he's bringing with him. I'm more interested into seeing who his staff is going to be than John Harbaugh himself. I said this last week or whenever the news had broke that he'd gotten fired. This is a rah-rah guy. The most important thing is who he brings with his staff. I don't know. I still am mind blown at how much ESPN and Fox Sports and all these big networks have been pushing John Harbaugh like he's some type of this God sent gift to football. Like, this is crazy to me. Sure, he's some culture guy. We're gonna find out. But if we look back at what he did with Baltimore, and it sucks because the longer you stay long enough to become the villain. And in this case, we're in the internet world now, where like if a movement happens and someone is solely on one side, there's gonna be the other side that comes in and attacks. And right now, it feels like I'm on the attacking side, just because I don't understand what what the excitement is about. Like, to me, I'm not excited until we know who his offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator is going to be, because ultimately, who cares if you can't develop the quarterback? The guy had Lamar Jackson for what, 8, 10 years, won one playoff game, and that's it. And either you're telling me Lamar Jackson stinks, or John Harbaugh just can't develop him. And John Harbaugh also took over a Baltimore team that was already prepared to go to war and play for a Super Bowl. So I mean, there's two sides to that coin. But I guess if we want to be optimistic, shout out to the New York Giants. They got their head coach, they got their culture builder, and hopefully they can get it rolling. It's just weird to me that Brian Daboll, we saw what he did in Buffalo. And obviously, he did something well with Daniel Jones because he was able to go on and have success. But it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out for these boys in New York. But if I'm a New York Giants fan, I don't know that I'm excited yet. I think I'm waiting to see what his staff looks like before I get too up in the air about this hire. But as a Cowboys fan, wow, the New York Giants look like the absolute smartest people in the room. And this actually might come back and bite them in the tush. And I will be celebrating it as this team falls apart in the next couple years. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, JB. I don't know. I still don't get it. I don't understand I don't understand the gimmick behind John
Look,
Harbaugh outside of his name.
I think for culture and everything like that, I think he's a good fit for a team that's been lacking culture, lacking in identity. I think he's a good fit in that sort of case. And you can also say kickback on that whole Lamar Jackson thing. Oh, you have Lamar Jackson here. Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh have a losing record in the postseason together. Before Lamar Jackson even became a Raven, John Harbaugh was like 8-4 in the playoffs, Super Bowl appearance, Super Bowl champion. So you could say, I mean, it's not all on John Harbaugh. Players got to
Yeah,
play.
did John develop Joe Flacco?
He drafted him.
That's a valid question, right?
He drafted him.
Yeah.
They
So you
drafted
said.
him.
Okay.
So I don't see, you're putting a lot of heat on Harbaugh, but eventually 15 plus years, if you're just not getting it done, you need a new type of scenery. Same thing with Tomlin. I think both of these guys are honestly they're most likely going to be Hall of Fame coaches at the end of the
Yeah.
day. So they know what they're doing, and when it comes to instilling a culture and changing an organization, I think these two guys are maybe some of the best ever. So, man, these words might bite you in the butt in a couple of years
Yeah.
when you see
Hey,
the
they might.
Giants competing. I don't know.
I
I
just
don't
wonder.
know.
I wonder how short the leash is before it starts getting loud in New York. Like, do we expect? Like, do you expect the Giants to be a playoff team next year? I mean, they could be one of these sneaky teams that kind of pop
They
up out
could
of
be.
nowhere, right?
There's always like 3 teams out of each conference that fall out, and we always have 3 up and comers or 3 guys that make it back after a down year. So, for me, it's absolutely a possibility, and you saw what was kinda cooking up when Scatterbo and Dart got on the field together, and they had a couple unlucky breaks. They blew a huge lead to Denver, which to even get that lead was crazy in the first place. So you saw some flashes
Chicago.
of what could be, and this was all without Malik Neighbors. So I think you tool the offense, hiring the right offensive and defensive guy. I think you need somebody young on the offensive side of the ball. We're talking about Cheech sent us that chat that Rams passing game coordinator under Sean
Oh yeah, but
McVay.
he's getting head
He's going to be
coaching
getting interviews.
interviews right now.
I don't see why the Giants wouldn't want to bring someone like that in. Someone under the McVay tree that knows uh, the passing game, the nuance of the passing game. Dallas hasn't came back at all. Yeah, I know. I think
No, we
I
don't
think
have to do
Jay
that.
is
We don't
throwing
have
some
to do
shade out. He's throwing a little bit of shade
that.
out for this hire, and I think for a team like this, I don't think for the Falcons. I don't think I know the Falcons were really trying to interview him and everything like that. But I think some of these organizations that have a little bit better identity that are ran a little bit smoother. I don't think they were huge targets for Harbaugh, but for the Giants, I think this is actually. I'll take the glass half full on this one. I'll be optimistic and say that it is a good hire. And depending who he brings in, I think he's going to bring, like I said, someone young on the offensive side, someone established on the defensive side, retool the roster a little bit, and you're going to be competing next year. I don't think the Giants are one of those teams that's far away. You have an all-pro left tackle. You got an up-and-coming quarterback. You have a number one all-pro wide receiver. And then you have a running game that's starting to develop. And then you have a front four that could potentially be very dangerous. You have arguably the best D tackle in the entire league. Dexter Lawrence is a goon, like freaking a goon. He's amazing. Brian Burns, Abdul Carter coming off the edge. I mean, work on that secondary.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they don't have the roster. Definitely, New York definitely has the roster. I'm curious to see how short
this is the type of guy. Look, this is the type of guy that can glue it all together, though. I don't think we can disagree on
one playoff win is pretty wild.
Huh?
I said one playoff win is kind of wild in the last 8 years.
That's with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, now you got Jackson Dart. All right.
We'll see if
cool it down.
Whoever Baltimore hires. If whoever Baltimore hires, if Lamar can't get over the hump with them, how much blame was really John Harbaugh for all that? That's my thing. At the end of the day, Lamar Jackson's going to have to take some heat. We give all these quarterbacks praise. We've been giving Justin Herbert praise. This year, finally, he's starting to get the recognition of he's just not that quarterback when it comes to the big games. Justin Herbert is just not that guy. Lamar Jackson, he's performed decent in some of his latest playoff appearances, but he can't get over the hump. I mean, he had a drop pass last year to help him advance. Mark Andrews dropped a pass to win the game.
I mean, that's not on him, right?
That's been his best playoff run.
Yeah.
And John Harbaugh might not even be fired if they win that game. Who knows? Maybe they go to the Super
Bowl. The owner came out and said, he would have just had one more week. This was going to happen. I think they were both going to move on from one another. It played out the way it played out. But good luck to John Harbaugh and the New York Giants. That's going to be fun to follow the next year. And maybe they'll be one of those sneaky teams that come out the pack, like you said. But for me, we will we'll revisit this
players.
We'll revisit this conversation come next year to see where this Giants team lasts. I feel like they got 1 year. Like next year, it can't be wasted. They got to make a playoff appearance, especially with the roster they have. But the only thing is like we can't just bypass those injuries. Like those, what Malik is an ACL and the Scatterboo broke his leg, right? It's not like they're just coming back from like some hamstring or something like that or a tweaked ankle. I mean, they're coming back from some serious injuries, and we've seen ACLs kind of almost take like a year for them to get comfortable back on their feet. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting for this team. But what'd you say? When do the players start to take blame? I agree with that. I agree with that in a sense. But like whenever you look at this Baltimore team, like that last game of the playoffs, how many touches did Derrick Henry get in the second half? I think it was like
at the end of the game,
2 or something like that.
At the end of the game, it doesn't matter. Lamar led him down the field. Who missed the kick? The player missed the kick. That's not on Harbaugh. Like I would have loved to see the Ravens play the Texans instead of the Steelers play the Texans. I thought that sucked. That sucked for football because the Steelers suck. They suck. The Steelers suck. Clip it and post it everywhere. So the Ravens have way more.
I felt like you were making eye contact with like Cheech and Billy, a couple locals here from Roswell. Is that what was going on right there? A little bit of eye contact, man. I feel you there. Hey, JB. Yeah, I was being a little salty this morning. I'm sorry, John Harbaugh. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here. We're gonna be optimistic.
No, you already showed your true colors. No.
All right. And I'm gonna stand by that. I don't get it. I think Nick Sirianni should be fired as a Philadelphia Eagles head coach because I don't get it. Why are we gonna do this carousel of rotating offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators and hoping that he picks the right guy? Like right now he's 50-50. So I guess
I think he's next.
Just ride his luck. For sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a I wouldn't be surprised if they hire an offensive coordinator with the intentions of him taking over the team next year. Because if they come out to a slow start, which this might be contradicting myself, but if they come off to a slow start, obviously his seat's going to get hot. And you've seen how the Philly faithful gets. I mean, these folks get loud. These folks are this is probably the one fan base that can boo a coach out of the stadium and get him fired that same day. I mean, I don't know if it's happened, but just based off of seeing them and how they react to things in Philadelphia, I wouldn't be surprised, JB. I would not be surprised. But JB, let's have a little fun real quick before we start breaking down these games. You want to see a couple memes that Cheech sent us for the week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sound a little more enthused. Be a little more excited. Well, let's see. This first one, the title says, Justin Herbert drops back for a pass. And
That's dog aside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty similar
Herbert and A-Rod. Aaron Rodgers too. So
yeah, poor Aaron Rodgers. This one, the squad is back.
there you go.
The squad is back. This is damn. This is kind of sad.
I like how they threw two.
That's the 2020. No.
Wow.
Yo, what is going on? What is going on? This is post NFL. This is what Cheech is telling us.
Heck yeah.
Which one's your favorite one here? Which one's your favorite one?
Jordan
You
Love
love that J Love one.
Yeah, that one's wild.
Yo, why they do Jordan? He kind of looks like that dude, man. The couple's TikTok people. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyways, this is another one. A shot at Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert on dropping 0-3 in the career playoffs. I am just a taller Andy Dalton. Do you agree with that statement, Borba?
Kinda, because there was a stat that came out between him and Andy Dalton when it came to, I think, QBR or something like that. I can't remember the stat, but there was something comparing him and Andy Dalton, which made their stats look very similar. So yeah, I just can't remember what it was. I saw it earlier this week.
And last but not least, JB, breaking. The Steelers unveil their new logo after yet another pathetic playoff run. This is by NFL at Memes.
That's tough.
Yo, this is so disrespectful to not only the Steelers, but my team. Come on, Cheech. Come on, Cheech. You can't be hitting me with those, bro.
I think it's a little too early for that. Give the Steelers another, 10 years before we start?
The Steelers might actually
5 years.
The Steelers might actually be falling into a rebuild, something that they haven't seen in quite some time. So let's see how the fan base deals with that. That's going to be interesting, right? For sure.
I think you really
That's crazy, bro. You almost feel kind of bad, but what was it that you said a while ago? The Steelers what?
Steelers suck. I'd rather see I would have rather seen the Ravens play the Texans just because they have that. They have a solid run game, and then Lamar. I feel like you would have to see the best out of Lamar, in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And I don't know, that team was just dysfunctional. I think both teams were dysfunctional, and I think both coaches kind of knew. I think Tomlin knew even last year while getting Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and stuff. Like, he's trying to make one more run. Like, you're not going to have success not bringing in a quarterback, after Roethlisberger's been done. Just the success, the standard has just dropped, and I think especially in Rodgers, he was like, okay, this is my last run. I think that was a telling move for sure. Like, him and Rodgers seem to get along really great, but I think that was like his last move. Like, okay, let's go all in for Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to be out of here after this year if it doesn't work out. So I think the Steelers do have to go through a pretty big rebuild, I would assume. I think you get younger defensively. You bring in a number 2 receiver, someone that possibly even a number 1 receiver, because you could say that DK didn't even perform like a number 1 this year. So you might draft. For me, the draft, man, get younger on defense. Work on the front, work on the back end, and see what you can do free agent wise at receiver. And I don't know what's going to happen at quarterback. No clue, but guess we'll find out.
But we're here for it. Is that what we're saying? We
Yep.
are here for it. Well, JB, that was fun. Sorry about John Harbaugh, but let's move on here. Let's talk about the games this weekend. Let's start off with the first one on Saturday. This is the one to kick off the season on CBS. You got the Buffalo Bills heading over to Denver. JB, you had a couple folks coming at you at the comments there on our TikTok post yesterday. I felt like you
Because I don't know how to
sometimes I
talk
don't
half the
understand.
time. I don't know how to talk. Sometimes I don't know how to like articulate my words when I say things. Like, yeah, Josh Allen's got no excuses, but his team has every excuse around him. Like, I don't know. Some people
Hey,
just
no,
take
no, no, no,
it
no.
too serious.
I definitely clip you in a way. I definitely clip you in a certain way, JB. You almost kind of have to throw out a little nugget out there to see if they catch it to kind of bring that interaction in just a little bit. But I didn't understand because if you watch the clip, it feels like you're defending Josh Allen, but then you have the Josh Allen stands that come in and they're like, "What'd you say about my quarterback?" And it's like all they heard is that you have Josh Allen has no excuses, and they heard nothing else after that. Because after that, you also call him the best player in the league.
Yeah.
What, ultimately, what I felt like you were saying is that Josh Allen doesn't have any excuses, as nobody else does either in the league. And we're going to judge this based off of the way he performs, solely him. If Josh Allen comes out here and has a 300-yard game, 3 touchdowns, but they lose by 1 point, similar to how they lost to the Chiefs, we're not going to be sitting here saying Josh Allen is trash. We're going to be criticizing exactly what his team is, but we're not going to say those are excuses. It's the fact. Now you got Gabe Davis that goes out with the ACL injury, so his wide receiver core, I mean, damn, does he have one? Does he have any wide like
He's
I
got
don't want to make excuses for this Buffalo team, but they have fewer amount of days. Here I come with the excuses, as I just said that same thing. How that guy said in the comments, right? But let's just go through the storyline of what this Buffalo's team is, right? Okay, they made they made no real moves in the offseason outside of going and get the Bosa brother, right? And he has yet to kind of pop up and really shine. Outside of that, they didn't bring anything else. They didn't bring him any weapons. They brought in Gabe Davis midseason, right? But then they lose him now, and that was supposed to be the savior, I guess, offensively because of what we've seen them do before. But outside of that, okay, so no wide receivers. I guess they paid James Cook this offseason. So you really need a great game from James Cook and a great game from Josh Allen. I mean, how do you feel? You think it's possible? Or do you think all this is just kind of catching up? Or are these just chips stacking up on Josh Allen's shoulder to go on this generational run, the real generational run, as you said?
I think so you only have 3 wide receivers suiting up this week, which are Khalil Shakir, Brandon Cooks, and Akeem Coleman. Those are your 3 guys that you're suiting up at the wide receiver position. But you do have still Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. So I think this game is going to be relied heavy on the tight ends this week. And I think Khalil Shakir it's safe to say that Shakir is going to be Josh Allen's safety blanket. And I want to see some creativity in the James Cook passing game. I don't know why they suck. They just suck at getting James Cook involved in the
Yo, that
passing
boy's
game.
feisty.
They use like Tyrell Johnson and the other guys like that, but I want to see James Cook being used like Bijan. Split the dude out wide,
Tell
come
him.
into motion, be creative offensively.
Yeah.
Take some heat off of Josh Allen, dude. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it pisses me off because literally James Cook he's that dude. Like, he's literally one of the best running
He's
backs in
him.
the league, man. They just don't use him. Like, they don't use him in the passing game that much, hardly ever, and it's just basic stuff. Like, get the dude involved in the passing game. But I think you got to have a big game through the passing game, through the running backs this week overall, even if it's James Cook, Tyrell Johnson, whatever. And then I think the tight ends are going to have to play a huge role. Dalton Kincaid, and Dawson Knox, they got to play. I think 100% they have big games. 100%. One of those dudes have a big game. I think they're going to be tight end heavy this game. So I think, and just be creative. Be creative out of the backfield. Be creative with James Cook. Like you can use him more than one way. I don't, use him more than one way.
Yeah.
Take full advantage of him this game in every single way because he's the guy that can pop off a long run. He's the guy that can pick it loose. So, man, do that. And I feel like this defense is optimistic enough to force a turnover or two. I really do feel that way. So I think they're gonna have their ups and downs in the run game. They might get cooked in the run game. Who knows? But one thing is that Josh Allen's probably gonna respond. He's gonna respond, and hopefully the offensive coordinator puts together a good game plan because I can put together a game plan. Just kidding, probably not.
On Madden. Yeah, no, for real. The Buffalo Bills, I think for their defense, the one thing to focus on or the one thing to look at is how they perform in the red zone. They got to force field goals to this Denver Broncos team. And if you remember Mario the other day that came on the show, Denver Bronco Enthusiast, he told us, look at the noise. Let's pay attention to the crowd. It's not just about the players in this situation. The fans are going to play their part in this, and the way that their stadium is created is, he said that it's set up to where when they do the little tremble on the ground, it kind of the noise transfers down to the field. And this is Sean Payton. This is what Sean Payton had to say about the fan base heading into the weekend.
Years we were conditioned to raise the noise level when they broke the huddle. The noise level needs to be loudest when they enter the huddle. Hey, can we do that collectively for 120? No, I don't need it. I just need it for half the snaps in the game, right? So say 65 snaps, 10 seconds. That's a huge advantage. For years we were conditioned.
Oh, Sean Payne. A public announcement, Denver Bronco fans. Shake it up for the first 10 seconds as they're going there to the huddle. What's the thing that the Dookies, what do they call them? The crazies. Just hit them with the 10 seconds. That's all he's asking for it, JB. He's telling the fan base, make it be known that you are there. You are not there to participate. You are there to take over. That's the words that are coming out of Sean Payton's mouth. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't quite say that exactly, but that's what I feel like the energy that he's bringing. I mean, how do you feel like the fans can impact this game?
Oh, for sure. I think it messes with the snap count, false starts, offensive line, communication issues, things like that.
I mean, you experienced a rowdy stadium, right? When you went to go watch the Bears in San Francisco. I mean, we saw it, right? Following New Mexico, the UNM boys, whenever they got to, what was it, the last game of the season against San Diego State. I mean, the crowd there in overtime forced 4 false starts. I think it was 3 false starts back to back to back. So we've seen how impactful a crowd can be. I mean, just watching Denver on TV,
that ain't even
feel the juice.
For me, I feel like one of the loudest home field advantages is like a Viking Stadium. Broncos have one of the best home field advantages. San Francisco, just where I was at, I don't know. It wasn't like super loud, and that's just where I was at. I think if you get closer to the stadium, it's going to get louder from the people surrounding you, and the way that the stadiums are centered. Whatever the sound trajectory is on that, like the lower you are, the more you're going to be like immersed in that sound. But yeah, for certain home field advantages, it can be extremely loud, like loud to where you're getting like a headache, and you can't even do anything. Yeah, that's how it's been for me a couple times. That San Francisco
like you're getting a headache
wasn't the best example, just because I was in the nosebleed seats, but
All right, well, I was trying to hype it up just a little bit. I appreciate it. But if you're curious if there's going to be anything else that affects the game, JB, there might be a little bit of weather conditions. So let's head over to the Denver Broncos news. This gentleman from Instagram gave us an update, not us, but gave the world. I'm butchering his name here, but Biachi weather. Well, let's see what he had to say of what the weather is going to look like and how it might impact the game.
Broncos are going to have their first home playoff game in a decade coming up on Saturday, January the 17th. It's either going to be an afternoon or an evening game. So let's get you that weather forecast. We now know that the Broncos are going to play Saturday and they're going to play the Buffalo Bills. Now, most of you know that all season long, we've had temperatures at kickoff at 60 degrees or above for every single Broncos home playoff game this season. That streak is almost for sure going to end on Saturday. And the forecast is not set in stone, but I would say generally speaking, we're looking at temperatures at kickoff. Again, this will depend on whether it's a 2 p.m. or a 6 p.m. game, but if it's a 2 p.m. game, kickoff temperatures likely in the 30s. And if it's a 6 p.m. game, probably upper 20s, low 30s, most likely. Now, this forecast is not set in stone. If you're curious why, we've got a big trough low pressure just off to our east. And how close that gets, that's going to determine what our weather looks like on Saturday. But it will be dry, almost for sure looking dry on Saturday. And again, on the chillier side, if that area low pressure is a bit closer, we could be dealing with some wind, maybe 20, 30 mile an hour winds for the game. So still a bit TBD on that Broncos forecast, but I would plan on temperatures being in the 30s, maybe low 40s for us, and a little bit of wind, again, depending on how close that area low pressure gets. Of course, more updates as it gets closer.
Well, shout out to that gentleman delivering the weather. But JB, if for whatever reason there is high winds and whatnot, do you think that favors the Bills or the Denver Broncos?
Bills. 100%.
Bills, because of that gentleman that you just talked about, James Cook, huh?
No, and also because Josh Allen can sling it through the wind. He does it all the time. That's not an issue. The weather, no matter what it is not going to be an issue for Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Can't say the same for Bo Nix. Can't say the same for that guy. And if there's some wind in the 30s, 40 mile an hour wind, 30 mile an hour winds, whatever, I tip it to Josh Allen every time. He can sling it through the wind. I don't know about Bo Nix. Bo Nix and his arm strength, that's when that comes into play. So
And what did Mario tell us at the beginning of the week? His concern for, if there's any for the Denver Broncos, is the running game. So if there's wind that kind of shuts down the passing game, it's kind of forcing you to be great at the running back position. And as of right now, they don't have that, right? So it's like I guess.
yeah, but then stack the box. Stack the box, make Bo Nix beat you. Come on.
Okay, so this is
Come
gonna
on,
this is
Rene.
gonna favor the Buffalo Bills. That's what I'm saying, man. You sound like a Buffalo stan right now. What's
Maybe
going
I
on?
am. Yo,
You're
yo.
jumping on the Buffalo bandwagon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have our guest from the University of Puget Sound, from Tacoma, Washington, a former Volcano Vista wide receiver playing at the next level. Shout out to him. We have, ladies and gentlemen, Dominic Dominguez.
Yo, yo.
Yo, Dominic, what's
going
up,
on?
brother?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Good. Appreciate y'all
Bro,
having me on.
Hey, Dom, correct me if I'm wrong here. You're a freshman in college?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. How was your freshman season there at Puget Sound University?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Not a whole lot of playing time, but learning the system, learning the offense, making the adjustment. Uh, sitting and learning really. So a lot of guys do it. Most
Yeah,
most guys don't start till their junior year, so just sitting, learning, and taking the experience in.
Yeah, trust the process, baby. How was your time at Volcano Vista?
Up and down for sure. I'm super blessed for the experience, and it's obviously got me to where I'm at today. Made a lot of friends there, lifetime friends that I still talk to today, and I'll probably still talk to for the rest of my life. Learned a lot of valuable life lessons from playing football there, from Coach Wallen and that great staff that they got over there. So, it was a really blessed experience to have.
Oh yeah, shout out to Volcano Vista boys. Well, you're a Seahawks enthusiast, so we can get
Yeah.
straight to the Seahawks game here this weekend against the San Francisco 49ers. How do you feel going into that game? Just in
Um,
general, what's the feeling as a fan? Are we a bit nervous? Are we excited? Do we believe in Sam Darnold? What's the level of nervousness?
my initial reaction was, crap, we got to play him a third time. I hate having to play teams again and having to play them a third time. Just like, crap. Because especially when it's a division rival, because you never know. Those games get weird no matter who's the better team. I mean, we saw a couple weeks ago Pittsburgh with a playoff game on the line against the Browns lose for like no reason. It's like, so those games get weird no matter who the better team is. They get weird. Um, so I didn't want to have to play them a third time. I was hoping they'd get knocked out. I was hoping the Rams would get knocked out. I was like, I don't want to play those guys a third time. And the last time we played a division rival a third time was in 2020. We hosted the Rams on the road, and the Russ Cook movement ended there. So didn't want to play him a third time at all. But if we were going to play a team, I think this is also kind of the best matchup for us. It's just a talent deficit. They just don't have guys right now because of injuries. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
they're on linebackers that they picked up off the street. George Kittle's not going to play now because of his Achilles. Uh, hopefully he, um,
Yeah.
prayers to him, quick recovery. But it matches up really well for Seattle, who's getting healthy, who had the rest. They're coming off another short week for the Niners, having to play on a Saturday. So it matches up really well. So I really like our chances in this one.
Yeah, and just to let you guys know, Sam Darnold, who played for the 49ers in 2023, just in case anybody forgot, that's just a little bit of a reminder to add to the storyline that's there, will be the fourth quarterback since 2000 to start a playoff game versus a team he previously started a game for. The previous three were Matthew Stafford versus the Lions, Jared Goff versus the Rams, and Peyton Manning versus the Colts. Darnold is 6-1 in his career as a starter against the teams he previously played for, including 2-1 versus the 49ers. Borba, does that mean anything to you?
No, not. I mean, not really. I mean, the 49ers are what kind of put Sam Darnold on track for like this turnaround, you know? Kyle Shanahan getting his hands on Darnold, like a guy with a bunch of potential, arm talent. Like Sam Darnold, like one thing about Sam Darnold, you know, we might say whatever we might say about him, but when it comes to arm talent, he's right up there, man. He's right up there, man. He could sling it with anyone. And that's facts. I don't care. That doesn't have that has nothing to do with being clutch. That has nothing to do with this and that. When it's the arm talent, he's top five. I personally believe he's top five. That's never
So
changed.
it's almost fair to say that Kyle Shanahan's creation, his product, might be the reason that he gets bounced here in the playoffs. Dom, is there any level of concern of Sam Darnold's play for you guys? Is that like the one thing that concerns you guys, or is there something that we're missing for the Seahawks? Because it kind of does feel like they have. I mean, it feels like they have the complete roster to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think that's a question on everybody's mind with the Seahawks team in the minds of Seattle fans and everybody outside of it. I don't think we have any question about the defense. The defense is elite. Any question about the weapons around him? AJ Barner's come on. JSN's best receiver in the league. Not Puka. I want to make that very clear. K9 and
Fair.
Zach Charbonnet are ridiculous. They have a solid offensive line. It's Darnold. And, is he going to choke? Is he going to. I think until he goes and proves it, wins a couple playoff games, I don't think anybody's going to let him live that Rams game down from last year. And I feel like for Sam Darnold, it's like, well, what has he got left to do? But, I kind of agree. You got to go win those playoff games. So I'm right there with you. I agree. I think he's a great arm talent. I think that's why he got drafted so highly. I thought he had a better arm than even like a guy like Baker Mayfield who's playing really well. But he's got to go win the big one now. He's got to show that he can really do it and prove it to us all that he can get it done.
You,
Agreed.
JB, you feel confident about that? You think Buddy can get it done?
I think that game
Oh,
against
it's
the
not even
Rams,
about him.
I think when he had that opportunity, when they went into overtime and he just led the team down the field, made some huge throws, like some of his best throws of the season to help the Seahawks win that game. Like the opportunity presented itself. He might have played bad, during a couple of the quarters, second half. He had some things go on his side, but overall, like when the opportunity presented itself, Darnold, like he made the plays. Like you can't blame the way that the game played out on that 2-point conversion, that fumble that was recovered. You get the 2-point. Like, yeah, you could say some of that was luck. Darnold wasn't playing a good game. Like he wasn't playing a full, complete game. And then in the fourth and then in overtime, you get the ball, you score. I mean, you led the team down to victory. And I think that was a huge moment for him too. Him developing that confidence. Like I can do this. Like I can beat the Rams. Like I feel like the Rams are like his biggest kryptonite. So I think he's got the confidence to do it. I think you just got to put it together. Just put it together when the opportunity presents itself. Like go down there, make the plays that you got to make, hit Jackson Smith, hit these guys in the open field, like make the throws. Don't second guess yourself. That's one thing. Darnold likes to hold on to the ball a little bit sometimes. And I think if you second guess yourself, that's when you get into trouble. Like, throw these dudes open. We talk about, I always compare like Tony Romo back in the day throwing to Des Bryant. Tony Romo threw Des Bryant open. And that's one thing Dak has never, I mean, now he's kind of developed that, but early in Dak's career, he couldn't throw receivers open. Sam Darnold kind of, he does it sporadically. It's just not consistent. But I think if he just trusts what he sees and with his accuracy, he can make every single throw. So I think Darnold's there. Like, I think this could be a breakthrough for him for sure.
And Dom, for you, what does Seattle need to do, or what does this game look like for you if Seattle wins? Do you think it's going to be, it has to be another low scoring game, or do you feel like they got to blow them out?
I think when you look at the last game, I think Seattle really scored, even though it only says 13 on the box score, they really should have put up 27 points, roughly. They went down there on that really long drive from like the 6-yard line after the interception, and they decided to kick a field goal. They had a 4th and 1. They could have gone for it with the AJ Barner tush push, but they decided to kick it. They missed the field goal. Obviously, they missed a 45-yarder before that, and then they missed an opportunity on the very opening drive to go down there and score. They were on the 1-yard line as well. So I think Seattle looks at it and says we could have put up so many more points. So I think they're going to come into this game, they're going to put up more points, and I think that Niners offense, Kyle Shanahan is a special play caller, and I don't think there's any doubt about that. Probably outside of Sean McVay, probably the best play caller in the game. Maybe Ben Johnson up there too. I don't really think that's a hot take. And he's going to put up more points too, but I think if he gets behind, his offense is not built to play like that. He doesn't have the weapons. I don't think that offensive line is phenomenal in pass protection. So I think if you get him in that position, especially against the Seattle defense that likes to bring those blitzes, it likes to bring those weird pressure packages. You don't know who's coming. I think that's where Seattle wants to get this game, and I think that's what they're going to do. Uh, it's going to depend, though, because they ran the ball way too easily against the Niners, and I'm kind of curious to see what they do because Saleh's not going to let that happen again. He didn't let it happen against the Eagles, and you saw it. The Eagles tried and tried, and you think, oh, here now they're going to break one. They're going to break one, and then it's like, oh, they're not. They're stopping Barkley. When you think, okay, this is it. Barkley's going to break, the big one. He's going to break it off, and nail in the coffin, but he just didn't. So I'm curious what they bring to the game plan, because you can't stack the box against Seattle. That's the number one thing you can't do. You can't go single high because JSN will beat you over the top. So you can't stack the box, and you don't have the talent to get on, or you don't have the offensive design or the defensive talent to get in a shootout. You just don't. You are not going to win that way. So you have to limit the explosives, but also stop the run game. And I'm really just curious to see how they're gonna do it, or what their adjustments gonna be from Philly, who doesn't have the best passing offense because of Jalen Hurts and former offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, versus a team that can air it out if you give them that opportunity. So I'm just really curious to see what they do there.
Yeah, it feels like San Francisco's defense is playing a bend but don't break. They want to be tough in the red zone and hold you guys to field goals. I think that's going to ultimately be what it comes down to. If Seattle's kicking field goals, I don't know if they win this game. Let me read you guys this. The Seahawks defense blitz Brock Purdy on 28.1% of his dropbacks in Week 18, 9 of 32. A mark over 10% points higher than their 15.8% blitz rate in their Week 1 meeting. The Seahawks defense allowed league highs in completion percentage, 55.8%, and passing yards, 414 to quarterbacks who scrambled this season. Across 2 combined meetings with the 49ers, they allowed Brock Purdy to complete 5 of 6 passes for 39 yards and 4 first downs after scrambling, including a touchdown. Against all other opponents during the regular season, Purdy completed 11 of 24 passes for 106 yards and 3 touchdowns after scrambling. So it sounds like next gen stats telling us Brock Purdy is going to probably be running outside the pocket and using those legs to extend plays. It feels like that's the recipe for success for the 49ers to get that offense back. But most importantly, they're getting their left tackle. Trent Williams is back. They didn't have him in the last game of the season. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that game, or how he impacts that game. But let me get you guys' predictions so we can move on to the next game. Seattle, who's going to win here, Dom? Seattle or San Francisco?
I think San Fran's story is really, really cool. You know, all the injuries, Nick Bosa going down, Brock Purdy, Mac Jones having to come in for games, Fred Warner going down, you know, Kittle going down
Baby comes back.
recently too. Yeah, and Kyle Shanahan, you know, as much as that's my division rival, and I don't want to give him credit, he's done a phenomenal job over there. I remember when Mike Vrabel won Coach of the Year because Derrick Henry was hurt and all those guys were hurt, and he still got the number one seed.
Yeah.
He's absolutely Coach of the Year candidate. If he wins it, I wouldn't be angry. He's done a great job over there. But the guy lining up across from him has his number. Kyle Shanahan has only scored over 20 points against Mike McDonald one time. He hasn't been able to do it. That's his kryptonite. Mike McDonald knows his offense, and that's honestly why we hired him. I remember Christmas Day in 2023 sitting there, Ravens 49ers, excited for this game. It's going to be a tough one. And then Brock Purdy just gets his butt whooped on Christmas Day. Phenomenal Christmas gift, by the way. But I remember it, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, him. I want him as our coach. I want him. I want him to whoop these Shanahan McVay offenses for years to come, and he's been as advertised since his first matchup against Kyle Shanahan, where Kyle Shanahan put up 36 points. Since then, he's not scored over 17. So I don't think he can beat Mike McDonald. I think Mike McDonald has his number, and I just think we have more talent on healthy and on the field right now. So I'm gonna take Seattle in that one.
Oh yeah, JV.
Man, that's a great take right there, and
I
that
know,
that
bro.
that screams so much like from the background of like, okay, like a lot of people didn't know who, you know, a lot of casual fans like, who's McDonald's, who's this guy coming to the Seahawks, like who's this young coach that really no one's heard of, and that explains like so much. Like you probably just opened up so many like bells, you know, just the bulb just came on for so many people just because of those matchups. Like you got to realize who you're playing in your division. So that's a great hire for who you're going up against. You're going up against Shanahan. You're going up against the McVay. You know, the other guys in the NFC. You know, talk about Kevin O'Connell coming from that McVay tree and things like that. Like that's why you make these hires, man. You make these hires to match up with other opponents that are going to be, you know, tough, that are going to be at the top of the NFC for the next upcoming years. So that's why you make these certain hires. And right now it's paying off. It's paying off for the Seahawks. And I agree with you 100%, man. I think
You talked
what do you
into
call
it.
it? What do you call it? Availability is the best. What is it?
Ability is the
Availability is
best.
the best ability.
Boom. And that's exactly what the Seahawks have. The Seahawks are like, if not the healthiest team left in the playoffs, I think they're second healthiest. They've only had 37 guys like total throughout the season, like beyond, you know, missed games and stuff like that, but they get them back.
Yeah.
And then I think 49ers are first, like last place or second to last place, like with 87 guys that have missed games, you know, if it's the same guy happening, you know, more than once or whatever it might be. But availability is the best ability. And for me, I just think the Seahawks get it done. They're just the more complete roster for sure. I think they get it done.
Yeah.
100%.
I think we might be jinxing the Seahawks. I agree with you guys both. I prefer the San Francisco storyline. I'm a sucker for an underdog story, for the Cinderella story. It feels like the 49ers are the Cinderella story of the NFL and the playoffs this year. You know, kudos to what him and of what them and Shanahan had done. Like Dom said, I mean, it's incredible what they've been able to do throughout the season. And it sucks that, like I said yesterday, JB, it does suck that the coach or these awards are regular season awards. So honestly, Liam Cohen is probably going to win Coach of the Year. But if we were able to kind of see how it played out, I think everybody would be screaming for Shanahan to be getting that Coach of the Year position. But it is what it is. I'm going to take the Seahawks as well. We might be jinxing them. But for me, I think you too, JB, would be like, if the 49ers win, like, what a hell of a storyline going into the conference championship. So that'd be fun to dig into that. But it feels like the 49ers are kind of just running they're running on E. They're just running strictly on momentum and hoping they can get from point A to point B. But it feels like that car might be breaking down this weekend. So sorry, Niner fans. It is what it is. It looks like the slate for us here is the Seahawks get a win. If it's a close one, damn, that's gonna be interesting. Buffalo heading over to Denver, boys. What do we think, Dom? What's your initial thought process whenever you see this matchup?
Yeah, this is a really interesting one. I've kind of had like a general idea for the other ones. This one's one of the ones that I can't really land on. Denver's the better team overall. I think they have the better defense. I think they play better offense, like complementary offense. But man, how do you count out Josh Allen? I
Yeah,
I
that's
kind
where
of
we're at right
compare
now
him.
too.
Yeah, I kind of compare him. This is gonna be a weird comparison, but I kind of compare him to the Chiefs last year, where the Chiefs just kept winning, and no matter how it happened, it was sometimes it was weird calls, sometimes it was like those doinked field goals, sometimes it was guys just like fumbling the ball to them. And Buffalo's kind of similar, where Jacksonville had that game a couple times, but then Josh Allen just makes something happen. And it's like it's just a matter of when does it run out? Is it going to run out later in the playoffs? Is it going to run out this week against a really good Denver defense? Is it going to run out next week against a really good Houston defense? Is it going to run out in the Super Bowl against a really good Seattle defense? Is it going to somehow work and then run out next year and then Josh Allen gets hurt and they go down the drain? Like, it's just a matter of when Josh Allen's magic kind of runs out, I think. But man, it's hard to count the guy out. And I think you can summarize the guy in one play in that Jacksonville game. So they drive all the way down the field. I think it's like a third or a fourth and one or like the 12-yard line, 12 going in. And they do a tush push. And you're thinking, okay, 1, maybe 2 yards, right? He takes it 10 yards to the goal line. And it's just like no other guy in the league is doing that. Like, maybe Jalen Hurts at like a 5% chance if he gets like the right angle. Maybe AJ Barner, the guy's 6'6", 240, but that's a tight end. Like, nobody else is doing that. Only Josh Allen. Like, if I said one guy got tush pushed for 10 yards, you're gonna say Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen. Josh Allen, he's a special player, and I don't know how you count
That
him
was
out.
insane. That was the ultimate tush push. He got it shoved up
Oh yeah.
right up there, baby. And he took it good. He just said, "Yep, do it to me, baby." Put him in the end zone. That's
Oz.
craziness from the
Golly.
Buffalo Bills. Yo, who's winning that game, Dom?
If I had to pick, I think the Josh Allen magic keeps going. I think it keeps going. Let it ride. Let it ride.
JB?
I agree. I really
Buffalo
like if
Bills
this game
stand. Here
can
we
just
are.
be close. If it's a one possession game in the fourth quarter, and if Josh Allen has the ball last, man, I'll take Josh Allen. I'll take Josh Allen a million times over Bo Nix, a million times and a half, and then I'll circle around another million times and a half. For me, it's Josh Allen all the way. I really think if that offense comes in with a good game plan to get James Cook, not only in the run game but in the passing game, be creative with him and use Kincaid of the boys, the tight end group. I think that's the difference right there. And Khalil Shakir has been a safety blanket, like I said, for Josh Allen. He had 12 catches last week, I believe. Just ultimate safety blanket, a guy that's going to pick up some yards, shifty guy in the open field. They're going to put stress on this defense. They're going to put a lot of stress on this defense for sure. So for me, if they can just keep it close, and I don't think it's going to be a super high scoring game, just keep it close and be optimistic on defense. And if Josh Allen has the ball last, if it's a one possession game in the fourth quarter, I will take the Bills. I will take the Bills. And if they
Yeah.
lose, yeah, it is what it is. But you got Josh Allen on your side.
All right. Well, I hate to do this to you guys. We got to bring it back. We got to bring it back to reality. The story of Josh Allen is so cool. We're all in love with it. It's tugging at our heart. I'm with you, boys. But I think we got to have the same logic that we have with the San Francisco 49ers. And I know they don't have Josh Allen, so you do have to put that into effect. But ultimately, this team is so beat up. This team, I mean, right now, who do they have at we just showed who they have lining up at the wide receiver position. And Dom, you're a wide receiver yourself. You know how important it is to have someone that can create some space for your quarterback. Josh Allen doesn't seem to have that right now, and I think that's going to finally catch up to him. I thought I was going to catch up to him last week, but we did say that we expected him to have some type of Steph Curry out of body experience, and he did. He was able to. They were able to keep it close, and then he drove down and got that game winning that game-winning touchdown to seal it. I just don't know that this happens again against this defense. I mean, the Broncos led the NFL with 68 sacks this year, the 5th most by any team in the Super Bowl era. I expect that to continue. Josh Allen got beat up, and now they're going against the second best defense in the league. I don't see how he comes out of this. I just hope he comes out of this alive. Honestly, I'm going to take the Broncos in a close. Now it's going to be a two possession game. I think Josh Allen goes down and scores to make it a 1-possession game, but ultimately the Broncos do seal the deal. I think.
Wow.
At least that's my thought process. There. I know. I didn't want to do it. Right here. This is where the heart is. Where Buffalo stands, but we gotta be logical there.
I'll say this on this game just before we move to the next one. If Denver, it's going to be on Denver's offense. If Denver's offense, the Bills don't have a defense. It's not a great defense. If the Broncos come into this game with off this bye with their asses on fire and put up 2 possessions, like if they go 14-0, I think it's the Denver's Broncos game. They need to take it away from Josh Allen because if he has to throw, that lets the pass rush and this really good Broncos secondary blanket these kind of mediocre receivers. Like you said, they don't really have a guy that can get open. So if they keep it close, then I think it's a Josh Allen game. It really is going to depend on that. I think it's more on the Denver offense than it is on anything else.
Yeah. I like that. That's solid. It's all on Bo Nix, as we've been saying, Denver Broncos fan. It's all on Bo Nix. And Borba has absolutely no faith on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and definitely on Sunday. That's coming out of Borba's mouth. Now we got the Houston Texans heading over to New England, the best defense in the league. And we did see Drake May struggle just a bit this past week against the Chargers. JB, give me your pick and what's your thought process heading into this game?
For me, I love the Texans defense. I love the Texans defense too much. Like I said, I think this defense is generational. It might be the best defense since the 2015 Broncos. So for me, if Drake May was having a hard time against the Chargers moving the ball, he got a little bit going in the fourth quarter, finally. But I mean, the Chargers were in that game the whole time. They just could not do nothing. They were getting killed. I mean, that offensive line is awful. When you have the worst you have the worst center, the worst tackles, the worst guards ranked in the league, you're not gonna win. So for me, just Drake May's inability to really open up that game, it took a while. I think he's gonna be in for an even tougher game this weekend. And I think the Texans, if they could just play clean offensively, CJ Stroud just has to play clean offensively. No stupid turnovers. Don't force the ball if you don't need to force the ball. No turnovers. Just play a clean game and let the defense do what it does. Because I think this defense is good enough to take you to the Super Bowl through the AFC side. So for me, I'm taking the Texans.
Dom?
I'm gonna go Houston here. I'm gonna start with that. I think it's gonna be harder for Houston because Pittsburgh's offense is not good. I want to start by saying that defense played crazy on national television. Oh, they dominated Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and the offense has not been that good. So it's a good defense. It looked extra good against the bad offense. And kind of ironically, the Patriots offense is kind of similar. I think you see it catching up with New England. We've said all year, are they real? They've played this easy schedule. I think they had lowest strength of schedule for the entire season.
Yeah.
And you saw them go up against at least a competent-ish Chargers team that had a solid defense, and Drake May struggled. So I think Drake May is going to struggle against his defense. The passers are going to be in his face. It's still a young guy. Young guys struggle with the pressure a little bit. So he's going to struggle with Will Anderson in his face. He's going to struggle with Danielle Hunter in his face. He's going to try to throw it down the field, and his receivers are good, but they're not get open against Derek Stingley good. So he's going to struggle a bit. And then I think you turn to the other side of the ball. Houston's offense is really up and down, but so is New England's defense. I don't look at that New England defense and say, that's a great defense. It's not a New England pass team where that defense is great. They have a couple good guys. Christian Gonzalez is really good. And I think they have, is it a linebacker? Robert Spline's really solid. I remember him in Pittsburgh and in Vegas. He's really solid. But they don't have any huge names that scream to you like, oh, this guy's super good. This guy's ridiculously good. So I think if Houston protects the ball, puts a couple drives together, I don't think Drake May is going to be able to go and score a ton of points against that defense.
That's valid.
Yeah.
And
So
that
I'm going to
defense
go
is
Houston.
being led by Mike That defense is being led by Mike Vrabel, and you can see the personality of Mike Vrabel in that defense. It's kind of just a group of dogs coming together, applying pressure on the quarterback. That's really what that defense is. And like you said, they're hit or miss, but it's going to be interesting to see. It seems like, according to the next gen stat, the target score is going to be 27. The Texans have won 16 consecutive games, including the playoffs, when they score at least 20 points in a game. They are 12-0 in such games in 2025, including the playoffs, and every other team has at least one loss when scoring 20 points in the 2025. Christian Kirk really came out this past week. We're going to need him to do it again, especially with Nico Collins being out. But JB, like you said yesterday on the show, it's just a matter of CJ protecting the ball. You can't have costly turnovers like you did against Pittsburgh Steelers. That was about what, a 17-point swing, 21-point swing, if you wanted to say. They're just, the Patriots are just a little early. They're just a little early, and that's okay. They had a successful season, but I do think that Houston is going to be a little too much for them, and they'll be making AFC Championship appearance. So I'm going to agree with you boys, and I'm going to take the Houston Texans as well. Let's go ahead and top this off before we send these beautiful people off to work to enjoy their day. The weekend slate of games ends with the Los Angeles Rams against the Chicago Bears. Sunday night football, JB. Right now, the Rams are minus 3.5-point favorites with the over-under at 48.5 points. The Rams, with the 30 points per game, leading the league at number one with their offense, and the Bears ninth in the league with 25.9 points a game. Who do you think is going to win this game, JB?
First of all, I'm right off the bat, I'm going to take the Rams. I think the Bear magic kind of runs out. I really do. You're playing against the MVP quarterback. I don't think he's going to get hurt. Like I said, Caleb Williams' comeback, half of his comebacks this year were against incompetent quarterbacks at the time, or backups that came in for the starter in the second half of the game. Not saying I'm not taking away from Caleb Williams' comeback heroics and everything like that, but I think the Rams are just too complete of a team that they're going to – I feel like they win by 2 possessions. For me, I feel like it's a 2-possession win. That offense is – they don't have guys that's going to be able to stop Puka, that's going to be able to stop Devontae Adams in the red zone. And I think that run game gets going too with Kyron and Corum. So for me, I just have to go with the Rams. I have to go with the Rams on that. I'll take them by 2 possessions.
This one feels like the obvious. I agree with you too, JB. I'm going with the Rams. This is the belt to ass game. BTA for sure. What do you got, Don?
This is the other game I've kind of gone back and forth on. I think when you look at it on paper, the Rams are the better team, right? On paper, looking at the film, the Rams are the better team. But if everything was played on paper, we would have had a Super Bowl champion in August. And Matthew Stafford, the fact of the matter is Matthew Stafford and these warm weather teams do struggle on the road in these cold games. Matthew Stafford's 1-9 in the snow. Matthew Stafford and the Rams themselves are 2-7 in 50-degree or below games. So they struggle in the cold. They do. So I look back to that Philly game last year, Matthew Stafford didn't turn it on until the fourth quarter. I don't know if his old joints were a little cold. I don't know what's going on there, but he didn't turn it on until late in that game. So I kind of struggle with that one. But I was thinking about it, and I'm going to kind of go back to a game that's kind of unrelated. When the Ravens beat the Green Bay Packers a couple weeks ago on, I think it was Saturday night, somebody had texted me and they said, you know what? Watch the Steelers lose to the Browns. Watch them. Just so that last game is interesting in the last week of the season. I was like, I don't know. The Browns kind of suck, man. He's like, just watch. So I get to this game and my gut is telling me the Bears will dominate because they're at home in the cold. They're the hot hand. But a Seattle Rams rematch in the championship? That feels like that magical thing where this team should win, but the underdog's going to win it just for some magical reason. So I'm going to take the Rams. I think it's destined that Seattle beats the 49ers and comes up for a crazy rematch against the Los Angeles Rams in the championship in Seattle. So I'm going to go LA Rams here. Gut instinct. Give me the LA Rams.
Hell yeah. And just remind you guys that the Rams did play Philadelphia in one of the craziest snow games last year and almost pulled off that win with that final drive. So this team does have experience in the cold. Now, Matthew Stafford has a chance to redeem himself in a cold weather game yet again. So shout out to the Rams. Good luck to Matthew Stafford and them boys to be able to just prove us right for everything that we've been saying about Caleb Williams and that Bears team, right, JB? I appreciate you guys rocking with us. You guys enjoy the rest of y'all's day at work. We'll be back on Monday for Overreaction Monday, reacting to the weekend. And also, Tim Foley will get us ready for the college football playoff championship game that will be happening between Indiana and the Miami Hurricanes. Dom, I appreciate you rocking with us, man. I hope we can bring you on again. That brain was spinning today. I appreciate you, JB. Appreciate you. And Jay in the back, man. What a hell of a show this week. What a hell of a run. Good luck to all these teams. Good luck to your team, the Seattle Seahawks, and good luck to our teams, JB, as they're already looking forward to the offseason, man. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all. This is Speaking Out Loud. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS. See ya.
Thank you so much for having me on.